Hello and welcome to EmergeTech 2024 hosted by CIO News. I am Simran Shiwalkar, a journalist at CIO News and your host for today. We have with us Mr. Anurag Chandra. He is a cybersecurity enthusiast. So thank you so much for joining us today. I would like to ask you, how has your experience been?
First of all, good evening. It's been a pleasure being into this kind of an event where there's a collaboration of industry, academia, and the scholars, those who are sitting around, and you have got so many people to talk about various emerging trends and coming up. It amounts to be a very good educational and awareness session altogether. There's no doubts in that. Why? Because you bring upon people, those who are the selected lot, and they are the masters and the subject matter experts in their own field. And this brings the kind of use cases which are very specific in nature at times, industry standards. And this could be really helping a lot of people, those who are already into the sector specific or into a domain of the entrepreneurship, or bringing up some kind of an activity which really makes a loads of difference to their lifestyle also. Why I call it a lifestyle? Because this is the way of living these days. The cybersecurity is the way of living.
Rightly said so, and thank you so much for providing your insights and giving the bigger picture. Along the same lines, any specific or any critical factors that you consider when developing a cybersecurity strategy or any response plan?
So this is, if we are talking about the response plan, basically response plan is something which has already happened, some kind of an event which has happened, and then it's like some kind of a response to an action basically. So when we talk about in response to an action, the most important thing is identification of what that action is really happening. If that action is genuinely which has affected the organization, what kind of an impact it would be, thereby slating that particular criticality of the incident. And the first and the foremost is the reporting of the procedures in the most upright manner to the individuals who are the stakeholders. Does it really create a kind of organizational impact? What is the kind of activity which you need to take as a standard operating procedures? Putting that particular thing to all the stakeholders is the most important thing. Also, at the same time, the operations continuity is the most and the foremost important thing for any of the stakeholder to look into. The reputational damage, secondly. The third thing is the criticality and the retrieval of the data, the thirdly. So these all things are supposed to be mandated so clearly that nothing is getting lost in the sequence of events. And overall, the human safety is the most important. So I believe that yes, we should go in a very, very slated, in a very, very procedural manner in order to do that.
Again, on the same lines, this is a dynamic space. There are emerging techs and trends. How do you stay updated when it comes to cybersecurity?
So I would like to bring upon a very important pointer here that we have been moving in this unprecedented change era where we have been moving from a physical sphere of life to a digital regime. And this digital regime and the physical sphere of life is blurring every day. The more the blurring and the more getting into the digitization, the more the data is getting available to the people around. You are already available with so much of data available in and around everywhere. And that's what is the new normal, I call it. The new normal, you're already changed from the physical era to the digitization. The more the digits around, the more the vulnerable, the more the threat landscape, the more the threat postures need to be corrected. And this is the point of time where COVID taught us that how the remote working started up. The remote working started up, we had VPNs, we had more exposures, we had more internet working of the systems connected all together. If we had so much of networking all over with the VPNs and various other things, definitely there were more backdoors also being opened up. More vulnerabilities were also being opened up. So what we have been thinking about that how this cybersecurity needs to be taken up in this particular thing is being well aware, having a resilient system in order to come back to the normalcy if at all by chance you have a loss in that. So how you get this thing done up? By being training, getting the people trained, processes in place, and getting the techniques in such a way that you should be able to bring back the system to the operational utilization and operational continuation of the same. So that's what I call it as cyber resilience. That would be the major bottom crux of the matter.
Absolutely, and I think we all can agree over there. Lastly, I would like to understand with events like EmergeTech 2024, any key takeaways, or how do you think these events are shaping up? There's so much of exchange of information. So, what is your take on that?
Oh, this emerge tech, the word says emerge tech. That means you are talking about the emerging technologies. And when we talk about the emerging technologies, the 5 or 6 things majorly which comes into my mind is artificial intelligence, cloud computing, blockchain, and then at the same time the quantum computing. All those things are going to be a big questionable state in the times to come. Why I call it a questionable state in the times to come? Because you need to upgrade, you need to skill, you need to upskill yourself in such a way that you're not left behind. The moment you are not upgrading yourself, you're not upskilling yourself, and you're not reaching to that datum, you are definitely being vulnerable. And as one of the speakers here just now spoke about, that data is the new oil, data is going to be the new resource. So that means if the data is, whoever has got the maximum amount of the data points and catering for the data, he is the main winner in the world. Why? Because information age is talking about the kind of information, the kind of useful informatics or the data analytics which you can bring upon onto the available data altogether. So data is going to be the new oil, data is going to be the new resource, data is going to be the winning factor for everything. So cybersecurity revolves around all these technologies, all these innovative things, but at the same time, I would like to bring upon in the end, when you are using these all things for the betterment of the human race, you have to always remember as a developer, implementer, and the user that you need to take care of this thing as an accountable citizen and to bring upon a very responsible behavior to use all these things. So that's what is the takeaway from my side into the EmergeTech, and you guys are doing really well. Thanks for giving us such an awareness and knowledgeable session in this particular event.
I would like to thank you as well for being so elaborative and getting at the heart of the matter. So thank you so much for your presence and sharing your insights. I personally look forward to having more such conversations.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot to the team.